Hi, folks. Okay, so how are we working your nutrition then for the challenge? Well, we're going to be using a portion control system um, as opposed to any kind of calorie and macro tracking. So the idea being that we don't want to be bending you to meet a new diet. We want the diet to bend to your routine. All right. So the way we have come up with doing that is to use a portion control method, because counting calories at the end of the day is at bottom is a method of portion control. That's all it is. So what we put together here is an easier way to control portions, and it's a visual way to control portions, and we're hoping it's going to be successful for you. It has been tried and tested in the past, so long as you put it to effective use, it will work for you. Right, so starting off here with this first slide, it is just a food choice table. Basically, we've categorized the different food groups: proteins, carbohydrates, and healthy fats. Proteins are in red, carbohydrates yellow, healthy fats in blue, and we've listed a lot of food choices so that whenever you're putting together your meal, you can look for what meats or what foods are high in protein, carbohydrates, and healthy fats. All right. So why haven't we put vegetables on this table? Well, vegetables are really, really low calorie, which means you can be as liberal with them as you want. So you can fill the plate up with as many vegetables as you like. Now, what I will say is vegetables are very filling. All right. So the more of your plate that you make up with vegetables, the more full you're going to be, the lower calorie your dinner is going to be, which means the greater weight loss response you're going to get. So if you're a fan of vegetables, pack your plate up on them. And that is fibrous vegetables, not vegetables like potatoes. All right, so fibrous vegetables, your green leafy vegetables in particular, are the ones that's really going to do the best for you in terms of your weight loss goal. All right, so herbs and spices. Look, obviously, we want your food to be as interesting as possible. So, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to use as many herbs and spices and flavorings as you can when you're cooking. Obviously, sauces are where you'll get caught. So you got to be really careful with your sauces. You're looking for low calorie sauces. So when you're out doing your shopping, what you're looking for is low cal sauces. It's not about sugars or glutens or anything like that. It's about low calorie sauces. And as I always say to my clients, curry is a dieter's best friend. Curry in general is low calorie. The ones you'll buy in the shops, the curry powders, most of them are low cal. Obviously, double check it. Don't just take it for granted that because it's curry, it's going to be low cal. But most of them are. You know, your Mayflower, your Dragon Brands, all that kind of crap. Gravy is also tends to be low cal. Obviously, this is generalities here. Sometimes you'll get ones that aren't. If you're getting like a KFC gravy or you're getting a takeaway curry or something like that, that's not going to be low cal. So, how much food should you be eating then in your diet? Well, we've put together, as I said, this system which is going to show you how you can gauge whether you're eating too little, enough, or too much. All right. So, at the bottom here, now you can have this PDF's attached to your app anyway. You can have a read through all of it. I'm just quickly running through it. At the bottom here, you'll see one palm-sized portion of protein, one fist-sized portion of veggies, one cup hand size of carbohydrate, one thumb size of fat. So what does that mean? Well, this is how we're going to build our meal plans going forward. And so we've got this wee visual slide up here next, which is going to show you exactly what that means. So look, a palm size. So if you're building a meal, you're going to want it to be one portion of each of these food groups. So one portion of protein, one portion of vegetables, one portion of carbohydrates, and one portion of healthy fats. So when you're looking at your plate, say there's a chicken fillet on there, you know a chicken fillet is going to be roughly the size of your hand. That's one size. What's one portion of protein? So you'll know, right, that's your protein needs met for this meal. Look at your vegetables. portion of vegetables is about a fist, size of a fist. Now, as I said at the beginning of the video, you can really be as liberal with your vegetables as you like. However, in general, this is a good guide to go off. All right, so if you want to have more than this, then by all means go for it. We actually encourage it, but this is a good size portion of vegetables. If you're getting this with every meal, you're getting you're getting all your vitamins and your mineral needs met. 1 cup. So for carbohydrates, so it's your rices, your potatoes. You're going to think of if you really scoop your hand onto some mashed potato and hold them up, or scoop your hand onto some rice, the amount that you could fit into a cupped hand, that would be 1 portion. So that's what you want to put into a meal. So if you're building a lunch and you're going to have some rice with it, say, that's the size of the rice portion. Healthy fats. So healthy fats are things like peanut butter or oils or butters or stuff like that. And you want it to be this size and no more. All right. So that's your size of healthy fats. And remember, you'll probably get the portion from, or you'll oftentimes get the portion of healthy fats in your meal from cooking. So cooking, when you're cooking with oils and stuff like that. So if your meal, when you're looking at your plate, contains one portion of each of those, all right, so 1 portion of meat, 1 portion of veg, 1 portion of carbohydrate, and 1 portion of fat, you've got a healthy meal sitting in front of you, and it's most likely going to elicit a weight loss response. Now, why am I saying most likely? Well, it's because everybody's different and everybody has different needs. So how do we determine whether that meal is exactly right for you? So if you've put together a meal with 1 portion of each of those, what you're going to do then to determine whether that is enough, whether that is too little, perfect, or enough for you, well, you're going to address this table here, which is our next slide. And basically, this is really, really simple stuff. All it is looking at how you're feeling after you've eaten. So if we look down the left-hand column here, hours after food. So 0 hours after food, next column, how should you feel? You're probably still a little hungry. It takes about 20 minutes for your body to register the food, so don't worry, that's how you should be feeling. Now, if not, what adjustments can be made? So if you're feeling absolutely stuffed, you've probably eaten too much. And so what you're going to do is try to slow down when you're eating. So you've probably eaten too fast, overeaten because it hadn't registered yet, and now you're feeling absolutely stuffed. So next time, slow down, and if there's too much on the plate, then you'll naturally just not want to eat any more of it. Simple as that. Really, really simple. If you're still hungry and you've waited the 20 minutes, then you probably need to increase the portions. So what you're going to do is you're going to increase the protein intake by a thumb-sized portion in your next meal. So you'll know next time, right, that hand-sized portion wasn't quite enough. I'm going to add on a thumb-sized portion of protein along with that. 1 hour after your meal, how should you feel? You should feel satisfied with no desire to eat. If you're still hungry and you're not satisfied, then you increase your protein intake again by a thumb-sized portion. So after an hour, if you're hungry again, then you didn't eat enough, and the portion guide is a bit too small for you, and you're going to have to increase the protein by 1 thumb. All right, so 2 hours after you've eaten, you're going to start to feel a little hungry, like you could eat, but it's not overwhelming. So it's not time to eat yet, but you're getting there. You're starting to feel a wee bit hungry now, and you're thinking, right, I could eat now shortly. I'm going to need to possibly start preparing for dinner or whatever. If you're still full, you've definitely eaten too much. Try reducing your carb intake. So if you've eaten, so whatever the last meal you was, if you're still full after 2 hours, then you've probably eaten a bit too much. And what you're going to reduce out of that is your portion, carb portion. So take reduce your carb portion. Reduce your carb portion by a thumb-sized portion. All right. So the way we were increasing the thumb-sized portion of protein when you were still hungry, if you're really full now, you're going to take away thumb-sized portion from your carbs. And you can also half your fat intake too if you want to. You can take half a thumb off your fat. If you're absolutely starving, if you're absolutely starving after 2 hours, then you can increase your carb intake by a thumb-sized portion, and switch that phone off, and increase um, your carb by a thumb size, and increase your fat by a half a thumb. So 3 hours is when it's time to eat. All right, you should be about 7 out of 10. You're not 10 being starving, so you're not starving. You're about 7 out of 10. This is when you're going to eat. Now you're going to use your new portion guide. So if it's perfect, then it's going to stay the same. If you weren't satisfied with the last meal, then you're going to make those improvements. If you were too full, then you're going to make those improvements, and you're going to build a new meal using that protein guide. All right, and so look, that's self-explanatory. I don't need to go through all that. We just have a read through it, and you know what you're going to do there. And so this is how basically each meal should look for you. All right, in this wee table. So you'll see in your challenges anyways to go forward. But look, meal 1 is your breakfast. In general, people tend to function and perform better if they don't have carbs for breakfast. So that's your cereals and stuff like that. So if you can and where you can, don't have carbs for breakfast. Now, there's nothing magical about having carbs for breakfast. I have carbs for breakfast all the time. It's not that having carbs for breakfast is doing some sort of, as I said, magic in terms of weight loss. All it is that in general we find people function better with a low carb breakfast, and there's reasons for that which we don't have to go into. Meal 2, you're going to have, again, depending on what you've built from your portion control guide. You know, if that's not enough for you and you're increasing, it's going to be somewhere between 1 to 2 of those portions per meal. So your meal 2 is going to look something like that: 1 to 2 cup handfuls of carbs, 1 to 2 palm servings of protein, 1 to 2 thumb servings of fats, and 1 to 2 fast servings of veg. All right, and that's how each meal should look. All right, so if you're looking at your meal each time, your breakfast, your lunch, your dinner, and your snack, that's roughly how they should look. All right, and then so we just put on tips then to help you out with preparing for your diet. So shopping and prep. You know, it's all basic stuff, which I'm sure you probably know already, but they're here for you to have a look through, and they try and help you out. Things like planning your meals ahead of time, maybe pre-shopping, maybe making a shopping list is a really, really effective one. You know, making a conscious choice to drink lower calorie beverages like your Diet Coke rather than your Coke Zero, or a lot there's loads of those 0 calorie ranges now which you can avail of. Try to make your diet as varied as possible. Now, consider the fact that the more varied your diet, the more expensive it's going to be. You've got to buy more different things, and you'll probably waste more too. So there's a balancing act there to have between variety and cost effectiveness. Don't break the bank trying to diet because you'll not keep it up. A planned break. All right, so you'll see one of our points then is plan to break the rules 10% of the time. So if you're being good 90% of the time, you're going to get the result, no doubt. Nobody's good 100% of the time. So factor on a 10% break in the rules because it's inevitably going to happen. You shouldn't be feeling guilty about it, and it's part of life. You have to love here too. Buying Tupperware, cooler bags, all that kind of stuff. So have a read through this. It's attached to your app. This is how you're going to manage your nutrition going forward. You're going to use this to build your meals, and I'm going to be checking in with you to make sure that everything's going right. If you've got any questions, hit me up in my Facebook Messenger, which is the best place to get me, and best of luck going forward. Check out the challenges. We're going to be throwing on some challenges here with your nutrition. We're just going to try and elicit more of a weight loss response. So check out the challenges, which is coming to you shortly. Best of luck, and I'll chat to you again soon.